So it seems a member of the Garda Anti-Corruption squad has recently been found to have cheated in the Dublin City Marathon. Well, that's awkward. Yes, indeed. Yes, awkward. Awkward. I would have thought, just me as a lay person here, I would have thought that one of the criteria for being part of or for joining the police, the Garda Anti-Corruption unit, would be that you yourself weren't corrupt. I would have thought that's kind of that's where you'd start and move on from there. But it seems recently a serving member of the anti-corruption unit, obviously he was off duty at the time, ran the Dublin City Marathon, and all was not as it should have been when he passed the finishing line and got the medal in due course. Some questions were raised and some rather unfortunate circumstances seem to have been uncovered, and we're going to get to the bottom of that right this minute. We're going to get to the bottom of that right now with the help, for starters, of my old favourite RTE, the otherwise known as the government propaganda unit, our national broadcaster, for anybody who doesn't quite know who RTE, Radio Telefisheren as their full name goes, which is now basically just the propaganda arm of the Irish state. Now we have this piece here from Paul Reynolds to kick us off, to get proceedings started. Paul Reynolds says a Garda has been disqualified and banned from taking part again in the Dublin Marathon after suspicions were raised that he might have that they might have used public transport to complete the 42-kilometre race. It emerged that the Garda, who is a member of the anti-corruption unit, did not complete the course when they ran the 26-mile race 2 weeks ago. Questions were raised about the off-duty Garda's time amid suspicions that they may have used the Lewis, that's our tram, our overground tram system. They may have used the Lewis to complete a portion of the race. That's not really keeping in the spirit of marathon. A spokesman for the marathon said the person has apologised, returned their medal and t-shirt. Their name has now been removed from the official results. Dublin City Marathon said it has completed its investigation. So they completed it, and it seems that all was not well. There was shenanigans afoot, and the medal, the person apologised. The medal, I think, was sent back, and all track and trace of their participation has been scrubbed from the record. Gone. Okay. Good start there. RTE, not a lot to the RTE article, as you see there. They probably just didn't want to rock the boat too much because, that's RTE. No rocking of boats allowed there in RTE. Let's hop on to extra.ie and see what they've got to say about it. Ian Begley here. Good man, Ian. Right, a Garda from the anti-corruption unit has been banned. We know that from competing in the Dublin Marathon for life. Never again. Do not darken our doors again, said the marathon to the anti-corruption officer, after he used the Lewis to finish the race. Of course, RTE was very much they, them and their, but Ian Begley here's going straight. It was a him. It was a he. Or at least in modern parlance, a person who identified as he, if you want to be, very modern about it. As nearly 25,000 people took part in last month's sellout event. I wasn't there myself. I think I had something on that day. One member of An Garda Síochána has been forced to return his medal following an investigation by organisers. Yeah, well, he kind of hopped on the Lewis, on the tram. That's not really how it works. It's understood There's a picture at the back of some Garda. I don't think it's the Garda in question. It's just some random Garda. Nothing to do with the marathon. Just a stock photo there from extra.ie just to get the badge at the back. So we all know what we're talking about here. It's understood that the off-duty officer was taking part in the 42. Yeah, we got that. And he decided to cheat his way over the finish line. Oh no, that is awkward. Awkward for the anti-corruption people. He used the Lewis red line. Right, we're getting specifics here from extra. The red line as opposed to the blue line or the green line or whatever other line you're having. He used the Lewis red line for a portion of the race, which he completed with a final time among the 6% of registered entrants. Log records show that the participant had run at an average pace of nearly 10 minutes a mile in the first half of the race. However, this suspiciously increased to nearly 6 minutes a mile in the second half. So when they were checking back through because they have all these stats now. It's all very modern. The pictures of everybody doing everything and people coming across. I suppose you'd want to put in your mantelpiece and stuff if you ran 26 kilometres, whatever it is, or 48 kilometres. I forget what I said there. I'm not being a participant myself. I'm a bit shady. I'm a bit slim shady on the whole distance thing because, as the saying goes, it means nothing to me. It means nothing. So he the first half of the race they had him clocked in. He was kind of running, thereabouts, the average, what you would consider the average. Serving Garda should be able to run. If he's going to catch thieves, he should at least be able to, at least run up a flight of stairs. So what they found was that in the first half of the race was kind of game ball, and in the second half of the race he was basically running like Usain Bolt. Which is not usually how it works. If you know anything about the human condition, when you're doing strenuous things, you usually don't get faster. You don't get stronger. That's not how it works. You get tired. You get weaker. You get slower. At least that's for 99.9999 recurring percent of the human race. But this officer, it seems he got the longer he ran, the faster he got, according to his statistics. So, as it turned out, there was a reason for that, and the reason was that he hopped on the tram. Following the event, the officer received a finishing medal, and his overall time was posted on the event's website. So he was a contender to basically win the next Boston Marathon, the New York Marathon. This guy came out of nowhere, and suddenly he was nearly in the Olympics, according to his time. He was nearly getting a running agent. I'd say they were on the phone. But earlier this week, allegations of wrongdoing came to light, which prompted marathon organisers to carry out inquiries. So they had to go back and say, hold on, we need to look at this. Usually people don't speed up in the second half. They usually don't. In fact, they never do. So this guy has discovered some amazing technique. Or maybe he just cheated. They subsequently contacted the Garda in question, who later admitted to have cheated. Well, what was he going to say? I got my second wind. No, it's kind of hard to come back from that. A spokesman for Dublin Marathon told the Irish Daily Mail, I can confirm that an investigation has taken place. This is the Dublin City Marathon people. The individual has apologised and returned their finishing medal and T-shirt. Had to give it all back. Take the picture down from the mantelpiece. Take off that T-shirt. Put that medal back in the box. And send it all back. Return to sender. Imagine everybody coming into your house. You ran the marathon. Fair play to you. That's great going there. I always wanted to do that. Look at you there with your plaque and your medal, and you just standing there like haven't got the train for most of it. Just stand there beaming a smile, saying, it wasn't easy. It was tough going. Anyway, anti-corruption unit, Garda Anti-Corruption. Yeah, you see what I mean? It's a little bit awkward. Let's read on here. Sorry, I was getting sidetracked there. As per the rules and regulations of the Dublin Marathon, this person will have their result scrubbed from the records and will be disqualified from future Dublin Marathon or Dublin Race Series. So he's basically he's persona non grata now. He's gone. He's out. His running career is over, such as it was. Garda headquarters has also confirmed it is making inquiries into the case, which means they're going to do absolutely nothing. Well, he wasn't on duty anyway. He just happens to be in the car. It's not their fault. They don't know what he gets up to in his free time. A spokesman said, this is the Garda spokesman, on Garda Síochána is aware of a matter at the recent Dublin City Centre Marathon involving an off-duty Garda. On Garda Síochána is currently conducting a fact-finding review of the matter, which is code speak for we're going to do absolutely nothing. It's nothing to do with us, but we'll just say for the sake of peace, we'll say we're looking into it. Of course, you'll never be heard of again. It's understood that the participant is a member of the Anti-Corruption Unit, whose job it is, guess what, to investigate wrongdoing within the force. His office is based within the Garda National Economic Crime Bureau at Harcourt Street in Dublin 2. I think that's kind of like one of the head honcho places. However, it's not known whether he will face any penalties, as the individual was not competing on behalf of the Gardaí. Well, that's it. Look, it's nothing to do with them, really. He was just doing this on his day off. What's it got to do with them? It's a bit, like as I said, it's quite awkward. But, I don't think it's not crime of the century. In 2019, the Dublin Marathon faced controversy when it admitted that the overall winner, quote, slipped through the net after his entry was accepted following a 2-year doping suspension. Alright, so that was awkward too, I suppose. Some Moroccan guy, Morocco's Othmane El Goumri. Can't say I know him or have ever even heard of him. I assume he's known in marathon circles, or perhaps Moroccan circles. He broke the course record and received a 2-year He was banned as well because he was doping, so he didn't hop on the train, but it was equally bad. In the UK there's been numerous cases of people cheating. We know all that. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Right, we know cheating goes on. It happens in all sports, not just marathons. It happens in all sports. Anyway, that's not the end of it. There's more. There's an update. We have an update here from the Irish Mirror. Let's see how this panned out in the end. Let's give the final word to the Irish Mirror here. Garda, who used Lewis in Dublin Marathon, claims he dropped out and was only trying to pick up his gear. It's not my fault. I was only trying to pick up my gear. Okay, let's see how this is spinning. The Garda is now claiming the incident was a misunderstanding. It was all a misunderstanding, and that he'd only ever planned to compete 13 of the 26.2 miles. So he never meant to run the whole thing. This is what he's saying now. He only meant to run half, and he's going to pick up his clogs, his tracksuit top, and go home. According to the latest, there's a picture of a load of people not cheating. Right, okay. We assume they're not cheating. Well, there's none of them on the train anyway, so I suppose that's at least a start. The Anti-Corruption Garda, who was banned, we know that. He was scrubbed. He was stricken from the record, taken offline. His name was etched. They had to get somebody out to take his picture off the wall and take his name off the rolls and scrub him. He was gone, persona non grata. The Anti-Corruption Garda, he was banned, the man handed, he told pals, this is the Mirror again, he was suspected of taking the Lewis. Well, we know now that he did, because he said he did. During the race, he told pals he was just trying to pick up his gear. This is what he's supposedly telling his mates at the pub. It's not my fault. I only meant to run half of it, which I did. Then I just hopped on the train to get my gear. Alright, fair enough. Except that it's more to it than that. But it's a good story. Well, you'd have to have some, wouldn't you? You'd have to make up something. The man handed back his medal and a t-shirt after questions were raised over his time. The question being, how come you ran the second half like Usain Bolt and you ran the first half like an ordinary pleb? That was the main question, I think. Marathon Chiefs said the man had apologised and, quote, will be disqualified from... Yeah, okay, he'll never run again unless he wants to run around his garden. However, the Mirror has learned that the Garda is now claiming, this is the new story, this is what he's saying now. This is what he's coming out and saying, look, it was all a big misunderstanding. I'm not that bad. I'm not a bad person. I'm not. It was a total misunderstanding. It's now claiming the incident was a misunderstanding and he had only ever planned to complete half of it. Yeah, we got that. A source said... I don't know. A source. Who's the source? His mother. Maybe not. A source said he's been telling friends that after he had gone that far, he was knackered. Well, I'm with you there. I don't think I'd have even got that far on a good day. He was knackered and decided to call it a day. Well, nobody has a problem with that bit. Nobody has a problem. We're all human. Sometimes you kind of take on a thing and you just, the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. So he says he got on public transport to pick up his gear, but the only way he could do that was to walk across the finishing line. There you go. Who'd have thunk it? I want to pick up my gear. Oh, looks like I'm just going to have to walk across the finishing line to get to my gear. Yeah, okay. And if you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. According to him, this is back to the source, his mother. No, it's not his mother. I'm sure she's a lovely woman. This is just a random source. Some concerned person. According to him, when he did that, he was automatically given the medal. He says he wasn't trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes. But he took the medal and the t-shirt and the pictures. No, he took it anyway. Really? Race organisers began their own investigation after the man's average time seemed to dramatically improve during the second half of the marathon. Yeah, he was running like Usain Bolt for the second half. This man was a phenomenon. The Garda had an average running pace of nearly 10 minutes a mile. We got that in the first bit. But it was nearly 6 minutes a mile. So he was basically running a mile in 10 minutes in the first half, which is not bad. That's no slouch. I couldn't do it. But in the second half, he was running a mile in 6 minutes. A mile in 6 minutes. I mean, in the second half. Really? Yeah, we know now why. Because he was basically running it in his head, but he was sitting on the train. The marathon it's always heavily stewarded, with individual competitors sometimes checked at different stages to prevent cheating. See, I told you, it's very high tech now. It's not random. It's very high tech to have this thing kind of locked down, where you probably have some way of tracking. Like, even though there's like tens of thousands of runners, they still have ways of tracking people and seeing where they are. So if people kind of just, pop off and pop on and disappear at various stages, that's kind of frowned upon. They don't like that. That's not really in the spirit of things. A Garda spokesman said, yeah, we're aware of the matter, and we know about it, and we're basically going to do nothing. They said, we're currently conducting an internal fact-finding review of the matter, as in we're going to do absolutely nothing and hope everybody forgets about it by next week, which I'm sure they will, because we'll have all moved on to some other scandal by then. So there you go. Yes, awkward. A member of the Anti-Corruption unit. I'd say he was popular when he went to work on Monday. After all this breaking, it's not exactly a good look. It's not a good look. It's not exactly putting your best foot forward when the members of your crime-fighting anti-corruption Elliot Ness type people are kind of cheating, in something like the Dublin City Marathon, which is a big event. It's a big event, and it's very widely attended and widely known about. So, what do you think of that? Okay, look, it's not exactly war crime territory. So, let's all not get our knickers into a twist here. But still, as I said at the start, at the very, very least, it's awkward.